This is the Green Room. I'm Katelyn Mattson. Today's Green Room, we have a full house. We have composer Adrian Sutton, composer of Warhorse. We have Julie Longhofer, who is the artistic director of the ICT Reperatory Theater. And we have Maestro Daniel Hege from the Wichita Symphony Orchestra. Warhorse sees its North American premiere next Sunday, October the 27th, with the Wichita Symphony, a partnership between the symphony and the theater. Hello to everyone zooming from all over the world, quite literally. Thank you for being here.
Nice to be here.
I'm going to start asking you a few questions, Adrian. Adrian Sutton, composer of Warhorse. He's joining me right now from London. Um, this was conceived in 2017. Can you tell us a bit how you first got involved? What was the impetus of your involvement, the composer of this wonderful theatrical work?
The play Warhorse, which was derived from Michael Morpurgo's book, was something that we first did at the National Theatre in London in 2007. So going back quite some way now to sort of, 17 years ago. And at that time, we were developing it as a play, and this was the famous play with the horse puppets. And the score that the directors asked me for was, they said they wanted something sort of epic and orchestral and something that really could be used as a mechanism to draw the emotion out of the story. And so that's a long time ago. But of course, what then happened is that the play turned into this sort of mega success that went all over the world, none of which incidentally we were expecting at all, because it was, it was quite a long and difficult thing for those first 2 weeks. But the answer to your question is, spin forward 10 years later, and as an orchestral composer, I'm thinking, well, this is a score that, quite apart from being in the theatre as a play, needs to be on the concert platform as well, because it's orchestral music and it deserves a hearing on its own terms, I suppose. So although I'd started that idea in 2010 doing a Warhorse suite, the idea came about doing this particular production, which is called Warhorse: The Story in Concert, which is where we join together the score as played by a symphony orchestra, together with narrators who are on stage and who narrate the book. But then, of course, in this production with the Wichita Symphony, we're going a stage further, and we're adding little extra elements to it, involving actors and so on. So it's still primarily, it's an orchestral piece. It's a symphonic piece, but it has these things around it.
Daniel, the music, Adrian's music, I've heard excerpts of it. Gorgeous pieces of music, accessible, wonderful to the ear. Of course, it's going to us, it's like film music because it is accompanying the theater, accompanying, the action on the stage. It's so lush. Can you talk to us a bit about your first impressions of the music?
Well, the first time I heard it, I loved it right away. I mean, like you said, it's accessible and it is cinematic in nature in that it helps tell the story just through the notes that the orchestra plays, just like really good cinematic music does. So you can feel a lot of the emotions from the story just in the music itself, and the way Adrian uses themes and connects them to certain characters and the way things change, I think is a sign of his great compositional ability and style. So I think it bolsters the story, which is what it should do. What great cinematic music does do is enhances what's already happening, so that the observer is hardly aware what exactly is pushing them in a certain direction. They're hearing the story, they're being moved by that, but also that music, that underpinning, really sometimes comes to the fore, and they feel it from that.
And so many moving parts, so many components for a performance such as this. Julie Longhofer, who's the ICT Repertoire artistic director, lends her talents and a few of her actors to bring this to life. Are there particular challenges, Julie, for your actors for this particular performance, things that maybe they aren't used to, a full symphony orchestra behind them while they're on stage.
Right. Well, I think the beauty of the story is that it's a profound and memorable story, but it's a lot like a chapter book that you would read to your 10-year-old, grandchild or your 10-year-old self. And that storytelling is, again, very accessible, and that makes it wonderful. So when we are bringing actors into the mix, we do naturally, as actors, access the expression, and the feel and the tempo, and in this case, the dialects that come with the different characters. So I am reading the role of the narrator, and then whenever other characters have lines, such as Albert or Albert's father or Captain Nichols, then I have a collection of small, really talented actors who can read that personality into those characters' lines. So it's like having a great story time, with someone that you really enjoy reading a story to, but then you also get the expertise and the artistry just that comes with the voice and the acting for different personalities.
Adrian, for those unfamiliar with the story, can you give us a very brief synopsis?
Yes, it's the First World War. Everything is peaceful in Devon. There's a boy who gets to own a horse, falls in love with the horse, he looks after it, grooms it, but then unexpectedly, First World War arrives, and all horses that are capable of it are sequestered to go across to France, and so his horse is taken away from him. He then pursues and tries to find that horse by going across to France and becoming a soldier himself, and eventually he finds that horse and brings him home. That's the sort of roundup of the story. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that, but it's a very warming and heartfelt story.
Mhm.
There's so much more to talk about, but we're going to take us a short break just to listen to a bit of an orchestral suite. Um, a Warhorse Orchestral Suite. Adrian, it seems like you arranged this in 2023. We're going to listen to just a few minutes so people can get an idea of what they'll be hearing when they attend the Wichita Symphony Orchestra Warhorse in concert, which is next Sunday, October the 27th. In Century 2 Concert Hall. We'll be back and we'll talk more with Adrian Sutton, Maestro Daniel Hege, and Julie Longhofer. That excerpt is from Warhorse in Concert by Adrian Sutton. This is the Green Room. I not only have Adrian Sutton with me, I have Maestro Daniel Hege from the Wichita Symphony and Julie Longhofer, who is the artistic director of the ICTRep, the Reperatory Theater in Wichita. Warhorse in Concert comes to Wichita, not just the first time heard in Wichita, but the North American premiere. Now, the stage work of Warhorse is it currently touring around your area, Adrian? We're talking with Adrian from London, by the way.
Yes, it is. It's we have recently remounted after a break of 6 years, I suppose. We've remounted a new UK tour of the play, and so and that started about a month ago. So and it's going to go all around the UK again, and there is this ongoing appetite for it, which is amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Daniel, how did you first hear about this work? What was your introduction to it?
Well, I think Stan Longhofer, Julie's husband,
Mhm.
approached Don Reinhold first and said, hey, this is something we should pay attention to. This is, in its other iteration of being fully staged, is wildly popular, won all these Tonys. We could do the North American premiere of this particular version of it. And I thought it was very exciting because at the Wichita Symphony, we're looking for cross-community connections with other cultural institutions. That's one thing we like to do. So ICTRep seemed like a really good fit for that. And also, we like to do something that's a little bit off the beaten path, where we are still playing orchestral music that our audiences will love and gravitate towards immediately, but also have this very powerful story to possibly reach different parts of our community. So it just seemed to be the right fit for so many reasons.
Mhm.
And it's great for families, for children, teenagers, middle schoolers even. Adrian, you were talking just now off the air while we were listening to your music. You were talking about how the book itself is kind of to a place where it's required reading almost in schools. And so you're kind of feeding this pipeline, kids are
Yeah.
reading the book in school, and then of course they want to come see the concert. Of course the parents want to take them to experience the work.
Absolutely, yes. It's one of the wonderful sort of side effects that we didn't expect actually. But the fact that the book is uh, or has been on the curriculum in UK primary school education for some time means that it's a story that a lot of kids know. And now that everybody's experienced the show since 2007, it's almost become a kind of national treasure. The show is in everybody's consciousness. Joey, the puppet horse, appears in all kinds of places, and everyone knows it. So it's become that's something that the whole nation loves, really.
Julie, the stage work Warhorse, known for its puppetry,
Mhm.
the horse puppets.
Mhm.
The concert version, obviously there are things that just have to change. And I
Mhm.
was reading in the description that you're using projections, that you have a designer to project images on the back wall. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, those come from a visual artist and illustrator who also does scenic design and costume design. Her name is Ray Smith, and she was the original scenic and costume designer for the stage play. So she's done all kinds of different illustrating and graphic kinds of work, some of it in the theater. And she has done sketch work through the entire book with these different scenes. So you can actually, one edition of Warhorse has her illustrations in it, and then other editions have different illustrators. But those drawings are projected on a live screen, and a group named ESK Films, they do a lot of film and orchestra collaboration work, and their most recent one is Top Gun Maverick on film, projected live with a live orchestral score. Well, they've put together these sketches, and some of them are animated, so that it looks as if the horse is running, and they're quite exciting, really. It's a wide variety of different sketch styles when you go from this peacetime in Devon and then into war, and then kind of the reality of war, and then what peace looks like after war as well. So it's good.
So putting it all together, Daniel, this coming week you start rehearsals. You have your musicians together for a few rehearsals, and the actors eventually showing up as well. What's on your mind putting together all these different technical elements? What are you going to be focused on first, or what's kind of top of mind awareness for you?
For me, it's really the execution of the music to make sure that it is as great as it can be, which I hope we can live up to that. The orchestra musicians relish this kind of opportunity, and so I'm really going to be thinking about them primarily. And then, of course, the way the actors and the singers and the chorus and the staging and the multimedia of the screen projections all work together. I have actually very little control over that. So in this particular case, my focus is really going to be on the music and making those kind of coordinations.
Mhm.
I think it's so exciting. And I, for one, am really looking forward to it as somebody who knows the stage play Warhorse, who knew of its popularity. I think we all, we read about it, we heard about it years ago. We each of us said, gosh, I would love to be in a place where I could go see that. How wonderful for us to get this version here in
Mhm.
Wichita and for it to be the North American premiere of this particular concert version. We're so honored that you took the time, Adrian, to be with us and talk to us a bit about your music.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just it's an exciting endeavor, and definitely just a community endeavor with all sorts of different moving parts. Warhorse in Concert is next Sunday, October the 27th at 3 o'clock in Century 2 Concert Hall. For tickets, you can go to wichitasymphony.org, or you can call the box office, which is 316-267-7658. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be with me today, and I wish you the best of luck next week when you start to put everything together. And Adrian, I imagine that you're far too busy across the pond to buy a plane ticket to come over to Wichita. What will you be doing on Sunday, October the 27th? What are you involved in currently?
Well, there's a couple of commissions that I'm actually scarily rather up against a deadline for a Christmas thing at Cadogan Hall, and I'm sort of slightly starting to suck my thumb and saying, "Go away, go away, go away." I don't. It will happen. It will happen. It's fine. It'll be on track. But yes, just a fearsome amount of orchestration work to do in that time. So that's what I'm currently busy with.
Oh, best of luck. Thank you all for being here and have a wonderful performance.
Thank you,
Oh,
Caitlin.
thank you.